Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We're excited to have you here for our webinar, Infor XA Cloud, a modern way to run XA. I'm Wendy Broom, Director of Marketing at Guide Technologies. Before we dive in, just a quick note, all participant mics will remain muted throughout the presentation, but we absolutely encourage your questions. Please feel free to drop them in the chat at any time during the session. We'll gather them and make sure they're all addressed during our Q&A at the end. Today, we're thrilled to be joined by our experts, Carlos Vela, Rick Altino, and Ron Klontz, who will be sharing their deep knowledge, practical strategies, and real-world insights to help you navigate the future of XA. Here's what you can expect from today's session. First, we'll explore the XA cloud journey and how to remain competitive. Then we'll take a look at cloud transformation and what it means for XA customers, followed by a demo where we'll see XA Cloud in action. And then we'll explore guide services and the implementation path for quick time to value. We'll wrap everything up with a Q&A session. Whether you're just starting to explore your digital transformation journey or you're already deep into planning, we hope this session provides the clarity and insight you need to take the next step confidently. With that, let's get started. I'll turn it over to our first speaker, Ron Klontz.
Thank you, Wendy, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This cloud journey for a lot of customers is one that has a lot of ups and downs. Over the years, in my 35 years working with manufacturing companies and helping countless customers through these times of transformation, there's just a lot of things moving in the industry, within their own businesses, within the manufacturing industry in and of itself. And then just from a technology perspective, as so many things are changing so fast, how do we move at the right pace, adopt the right type of technology, and do that in a way that you make sure you're always maximizing your competitive advantage. This is just a few things that I kind of pulled out from some different areas that kind of speak to the whole issue about how do we adopt certain things around space, some of the new technologies around AI for artificial intelligence or machine learning, right? Well, the thing to really take away from a lot of these new technologies, there's really one thing that's very constant with that. As you move along this path of innovation, and that's really what this is we're looking at a lot of customers are here in their XA journey, which is really they're maximizing the business processes, the quote to cash, doing the manufacturing, doing the distribution, utilizing that very robust platform to satisfy and their customers every day to remain competitive. However, this environment that's around kind of the technology that's now around ERP systems in general, well, this is continually to evolve. And the one thing that as customers move along this path and they want to adopt more and more functionality, well, there's one thing that remains constant is we're going to need more and more computing power. And that really leads to this evolution and where the cloud starts to play a pivotal role in a company setting their long-term strategy. As we start to move and look to getting more augmented intelligence around enterprise automation, and then really getting into data insights and looking at generative AI and a lot of new things that have now come within the framework, this really all sets the stage for what I want to introduce to everyone today is that great application of XA now combined with the power and innovation of the Infor technology platform. That's really what we want to unveil today is the XA Cloud. It is powered by Infor operating services. For those that may be new on the call and may not have gotten introduced to a lot of this capability, this has been a huge R&D effort over the last really 5 to 10 years for Infor, is to create an enterprise application platform called Infor OS that rivals all competitors out there in the market. And in this platform, with all the built-in functionality and the power of this platform, this is where companies are starting to look at wow, we can start to adopt this technology much quicker, quicker time to value. The implementations are shorter. The barrier to entry and the cost is a lot lower. And so today, through this journey, I want to introduce everyone to the XA Cloud that is powered by Infor Operating Services. And we're going to unpack a number of capabilities that most manufacturers are dealing with today. We'll try to make this as relative as real world based on all my years of doing this as I can, so that hopefully folks will come away with maybe some ideas and some thoughts around this. And then they want to reach out and maybe talk about more specific to their scenario. We'd love to have those conversations. So this cloud transformation and what it means for XA customers is now they're going to have a platform that not only has the infrastructure, but it also brings together the technology, and it does all that building on the robust capabilities of Infor XA. Infor XA is a robust platform that is top notch for manufacturers and have been using it successfully for many years. What we're doing is combining that robust set of capability with unrivaled technology and on an infrastructure now that can kind of change the way that manufacturers kind of focus and spend some of their hard-earned dollars. Most companies today running XA, they're on premise, right? I grew up in the on-premise world many, many years ago, probably dating me how old I am. But, used to having my hardware. I'm planning for our technology path. I'm planning for the upgrades. And sometimes as years go on, those upgrades get longer and longer and longer between because, hey, we kind of get to a point and we're kind of happy and there's no really impending event that we have to do anything. So companies tend to sit there maybe a little longer than they ever intended to. Well, that's kind of a lot of the things around on premise. And I would say the one thing that's changed dramatically in the last 4 or 5 years is really around the upgrade and the velocity to that. That's not up to most companies, kind of their expectations. They want to move faster. They want to take on more functionality. And the really big one is around security. Unfortunately, there's been a number of companies that they have had security breaches in which all it takes is, we know, one phishing email that gets in, compromises a password or compromises a system. And guess what? Now we have a scenario to where we may have to go to backups. Fortunately, customers have been in that arena. That's where there's a number of reasons here. And we'll talk about that a little later of why customers are starting to reevaluate the speed at which they can move and change their business and drive in new technology. Well, that's really where XA Cloud comes in. In here, the real key is you own the data. You really don't have to worry about the hardware, the infrastructure, installing software, those type things. It's really about you bring your data and now let Infor Cloud Operations, right? A very robust organization that they wake up every day and they're looking to make sure that that cloud environment is tuned so that the XA customers in cloud can run their businesses and not have to worry about backups and disaster recovery and security and all those things. And then it's really around, you just use this and think of it as now as software as a service rather than the on-premise world. So number of things that I think when customers start to do these evaluations, kind of looking at where they're at today, and then looking at how they want to innovate and maybe change and drive some transformation in the organization, bar none, based on all the data and everything, the fastest way to do that is to utilize something like Infor XA Cloud because of just all the quick time to value, software being installed, things are ready to go. It's really, there's a process to move your data over and then start to unlock all these new capabilities. This infrastructure, it's highly resilient, very scalable and secure. The maintenance, the monitoring is all covered by Infor. So there's just a little more detail around kind of what goes into the infrastructure. And a lot of customers have they have all this today. It's their internal teams are the ones that are really driving this, having to look at the hardware, plan for upgrades, trying to map all this out into their IT strategic plan and in their spend plan. Well, now all this really moves into Infor really takes and owns all of that, and you're really then they're providing that as a service to the customer. So then those professionals can work more in the business, if you will, solving business problems, doing other types of maybe automation projects and things, rather than maybe having to work more on the hardware side. That's things we've seen customers have kind of not really reduced staff as a result of this. They've just been able to utilize those key resources in maybe different ways in the go forward plan. So to kind of unpack what's in the Infor operating services bundle, we talked about this platform and what that really means. This platform has a number of components. And so you can think about this platform as all encompassing. And so within, we'll try to contrast this maybe with a little bit around the XA world today. This platform, first and foremost, has kind of think of it as when you first log in, you're going to come to a web browser. That's going to be like Chrome. You're going to authenticate. Everything is secured and encrypted as it's being utilized across that using a secure protocol. And you'll come into like a workspace or a home page. And so this is going to be that front end portal, which now employees can use maybe role-based type portals. They can have various parts of XA from navigation to maybe their workflows and their documents. They can manage more by exception, if you will. And so this gives the users much more of think of a landing page in which they can kind of start their day. What do I need to focus on? What orders do I need to release? What orders are going to be late? Customers that need credit approvals and the like, right? Could be need all of those things. And because this is all built with not only a web browser in mind, but this also comes out of the box with mobile apps. And we'll talk about that just a little bit, but that can be on an Apple or Android. So this now opens up more of a mobility world just by the fact that we're moving on to XA in the cloud, and we're opening up this the Infor operating services, this tech platform that now is going to give customers just a number of ways that their users can now start to engage the application. As I mentioned, the mobile part, you can probably go out and look on either the Apple or the Play Store. You'll see that there's a number of Infor applications out there. One of those applications is Infor Go. Here we can see that I have my workspaces that I utilize when I'm in my office and at my desktop, but I also have those workspaces here on my mobile application. I can get to my documents. I can be engaging in workflows and, approvals and the like, right? We'll talk about that in a moment. So just opening up the fact that this is these are apps that are secure, that are certified, that are placed out there by Infor. There's little QR codes that will connect those to your environment, and you get set up, and now you have mobile access and things on the go, allowing companies to really, pick up productivity and efficiency, because it's not all about that I have to be at my desk, being able to get into maybe either VPN or remote desktop, right? Those can be quite limiting in nature. This technology unlocks a whole new way to access the application, and mobility is a key part of that. XA, like most other systems, they produce a lot of documentation. Documentation can be everything from order verifications, incoming purchase orders from a customer. These can be obviously purchase orders that we send out to vendors. This could be shop order paperwork. So within the technology platform comes a very robust document management system. This document management system is an integral part of this tech platform. And it gives users a way when they're sitting on an order to be able to, the customer sent me some more documentation. You can drag and drop an email right into the little panel on the right. You can drag and drop something that may be an Excel spreadsheet, or maybe there's a drawing or a visualization. And when you do that, it places it in context to the record that you're looking at in XA. So now it fundamentally changes how Companies may move off of their file shares, move off of their, shared drives. I've heard it called by a number of names, the document black hole of death. I mean, it goes by a number of things, affectionately called, right? I've heard all kind of stories around these, and it's so hard to find documents, right? It's so hard to find things. They put them out there. We got to get so smart about the naming conventions and all that. So the beauty is, team, all that goes away. So with this document management system, which also has mobile capability, and it also has revisioning. So if I'm checking in and checking out a document and doing revisioning, when Rick's going to show you a little presentation here in just a moment, a little demo, he's going to show you some document management and one other special feature that I'll let Rick unveil in a moment. But for a lot of companies, just the fact that I have online documentation that's all stored in the cloud, I have the ability to check in and check out documents and maybe do workflows and approvals around those documents and engage maybe my customers and vendors around documents, right? Those can be huge game changers, huge time savings, and then the ability to find information, search in documents. Those are huge uplifts for most customers. And that's just a little part of what document management does to unveil a lot of that productivity and to make it really simple for customers. Another part of the tech platform is around workflow and alerts. This term gets thrown around a lot in the industries. These they go by a number of things. Usually, the way I like to think of it, today, if something lands in your inbox in which somebody's saying, "Hey, can you approve this?" or "Can you take a look at it?" Well, that could be a candidate for maybe a workflow alert or an automation. So within this platform, you can see that by the little example there, this is actually the building process of how they build out a workflow. This could be an approval for, I've got a large purchase order that's going to be over a certain dollar amount. And anytime in XA that we enter a purchase order that it crests that dollar threshold, a workflow like this fires off. And then based on the team or the thread, I'm going to get a mobile alert on my phone, just like a text message that I need to engage in. And then I'm going to have the visualizations around that so that I can then work with that workflow either remotely or wherever I'm at. A lot of companies are going to utilize this powerful set of capabilities to really manage by exception. Set up your business policies. This could be around sales order discounting, anytime a customer cancels a sales order, credit limit approvals, purchase order approvals, requisition approvals, scrap amounts on a job that go up or costs go up. I want maybe an alert that lets me know that that happens. So a robust set of tools here, team. This is how companies, they want to change the dynamic from having their users go in and try to run a report, scour the report for the data, find the exception, and then try to go do something about that. They want the software to sit here with a robot like here, like workflow and alerts, let it look for the condition and then fire off the exception so that your very capable team can get engaged, solve the people problems like they're always really good at doing, but let's do that in a very automated fashion. Part of any user experience is the visualization of data. As I understand it, there's not a lot of great opportunities with an XA that we see graphs and we see visuals. Well, that's where built within this technology platform is an analytics engine that Infor acquired many years ago. And in this analytics engine, we have the ability for all this wonderful data that is getting published into the data lake. Well, we can have analytics run against all of that data. So this gives a chance to have visualizations that can be a landing page for an analytics person that wants to go in and they want to look at, buyer information, and they want to look at sales information and sales trends. I want to see that graphed out. I want to see it over 5 years. I want to see trends up and down, right? So just having an analytics engine that is built within the application. Also, you can display, as you see on the mobile device, the analytics can be displayed there, and of course on our dashboards so that you can pull on the key components of the analytics that make sense depending on your role or really your segmentation of the business, right? You may be over a number of roles. You may be over a scenario that you have, I got plant A, plant B, and plant C, and I'd like to have an analytics view that shows me the data across all of those XA databases. So I have a single view and a consolidation of sales or operations across multi-site. That really is the power of this platform, is now to bring the visualization, to be able to drill down, do the exploration, slice and dice, but that's all part of the technology platform. The journey for the technology and the evolution has never been faster than it is today. There's a lot of verbiage out there around AI and ML, artificial intelligence and machine learning. Well, this is also part of the technology platform. So building here is the ability to come in and start to either go in and maybe build a model, be able to train the model, and then be able to run that model. And then with the machine learning, that model will get smarter and smarter over time. This is an example of why the move to the cloud is so important, because as you can well imagine, these models and dealing with vast amounts of data, that computing power, you really need that in order for these models to go out and be highly efficient. Now, models can take all forms. Infor's got a number of kind of models that they've started with, and this is everything from forecasting, machine breakdown events, to where based on the data they predict that a certain machine may fail 3 months and a day from now, right? When customers are ordering product and you'd like to have maybe a product recommender for this customer based on their past history, their past trends, recommend some products that this customer would be interested in based on a current order or past behavior, if you will. So this is a wonderful new world that's getting opened up, and one that customers are really anxious to start to explore. And being in the XA Cloud is going to give customers that opportunity to do exactly that. Mm. No tech platform is complete without looking at how we integrate to other applications. We know that Infor XA customers are not like any other manufacturing customer. There are numerous areas in which we may need to integrate to another application. Now, how you integrate to that application, that's kind of the key for the tech platform that Infor has created. It creates an integrations hub, if you will. So in this integrations hub, this could have everything from maybe going out and making a call to AvaTax for a tax calculation, doing a freight calculation that maybe we're calculating freight up front for a customer, right? It could be going out and doing a bank integration for bank reconciliation, if you will. Or maybe we've got a Dropbox for cash application, and that's an integration. We want to automatically bring that in. We want to transform, map the data, and do things within XA based on the data that's coming from our integration. But when you set it up in the hub, Infor now is not only monitoring the application, but it's also monitoring the data flow between the applications. And what's really important about that is it's not like a point to point to where certain things can break. There's a way that you can build these integrations to where they can be very robust, very dynamic, and they're kind of self-monitoring. So if something does go kind of not according to plan, then you'll have a dashboard that'll show you an exception or something that you could then go monitor that and then make appropriate adjustments. So just a little example of how the world of integrations is now taking that next step and becoming much more commercial, way more visual. And then obviously everybody wants to make sure that their integrations are done in a robust fashion. REST API, secure REST API is a very popular method today in which to do application integrations. But you can see here just a little example on the right, just kind of a validation of how this world is continuing to change, and to change very rapidly. Within the application environment, there's also an app designer. So if you wanted to come in and kind of build your own application, you wanted to build a little mobile application that could maybe show some XA data, some interaction in a different way. There is a app designer within the technology platform that would allow customers to kind of do their own thing. So it doesn't have to be that it's just what you have out of the box. You want to do something a little different, you can do that within the app designer and within this tech platform. A last piece, and then we're going to do a little presentation by Rick, is really around robotic process automation. This is one of the newest capabilities that have come within the tech platform. This robotic process automation, think of it as maybe an example would be as a customer service rep, they go out to a portal that you have a very important customer. You log into that customer's portal, you download the orders into maybe an Excel spreadsheet or some format, or maybe it's just a PDF. But you have to go out, you have to physically get the download or get the copy of that. And then you do that, and then obviously you take something within the data, you log into XA, you go to this screen, and maybe you enter 2 or 3 line items. Well, robotic process automation can execute everything I just described without any human intervention. So think of it as a robot that automates repetitive tasks and processes. This can be inside of XA. This could be inside of another application. This can also monitor an inbox. So, Mr. Customers, if you have an inbox that might be, well, they send all the orders into inbox at abccompany.com, and they come in there, customer service goes again and retrieves them. Well, the robot could actually monitor the inbox, pick up the orders, resolve the data, do OCR and everything through the documents, then go into XA and do the automation and create all the orders, and then send out the notifications. This is one of those new frontiers for a lot of companies that are looking to kind of automate some areas of the business that, maybe people aren't there 3 shifts, right? And we got orders coming in 24/7, and we'd like to be more responsive. We'd like to have, the robot looking at the inbox to either create orders or maybe create service tickets or right? It could be any number of things. But this is one of those areas that really there's been a lot of evolution around this over the last year or so. It's now come full force. Infor, we have applications. We've got examples internally that we've worked through and done everything from the inbox. So our team is very knowledgeable on how to help companies set this up. But the automation here, it's a really exciting time to see what can be done from what used to be absolutely no doubt had to be manual activities, sometimes by one person, sometimes by multiple people. It really gets the creative mind flowing of the way that this could be applied in a lot of different situations and organizations. Okay, with that, I'm going to pass this over to my colleague, Rick, and he's going to show us a few live examples.
Thank you, Ron. Appreciate that. And what I'm very excited to show you guys is how cloud technology, the power of the cloud, these computers that are out there, is transforming XA to the next level. It's really, Ron touched on things that we've been hearing about for a number of times, but we haven't seen it inside of XA. And now we have the ability to link these functions together. So the one thing I would say right off the bat is the cloud links functions together. For many years, we have signed on one way, we've signed on another, we sign on another application. The cloud has fixed that, and it's created a unified single source that we can get all the information that we're looking for. What we're looking for here is Infor OS. We are looking at live data. I do not have a PowerPoint. Everything I'm about to show you is live out of our system. And these widgets are things that can be created to meet your individual needs. This particular set of widgets, we sort of built around an inventory theory. So I notice up here I have XA inventory as one of our functions. And that was, oops, hit the wrong button. That was one of the roles that we created. So we're looking here at XA inventory, and let's see what some of the tools are that are available. I have a task list. This is me. This is basically coming out of workflows. What are my to-dos based on these different task lists? So I need to see what I have ready for me today. I have everything from custom menus. This is all going into XA, but notice I'm going into things that are not just XA. I have scan and track down here. I have CRM. This is the Sales Logic CRM from Infor. I have document management. I can control where I'm going. I have graphical data representing the database. We can get graphic data, as Ron was saying, out of the analytics. We can get it from the data lake. We can get it from Burst. We can get it from directly from the XA database. We can get it from third parties like Profix, which are doing MES and reading live codes off of our shop floor, off of the machines, live inventory out of tanks. And it can all be tied in to a information-based display. That's what I want to call this. Many of you have heard me talk for a long time. I've talked about how ERP has lots of data, but sometimes it doesn't have information. This is what we do here. We can create these graphs. And as I'm going through here, notice I have direct inventory information. I have hot links here. Now I could spend 3 hours demoing all this. I'm not going to go into every single one of these functions, but if I click on these, it will open up the ERP and go directly to those functions. I have different workflows that I can start manually, and I can click and see what the workflow is that I'm starting. Now, one of the neat things about this technology is I can start things like workflows, start document management, do tools from a number of different sources. So if I wanted to manually start a workflow, I absolutely can come here and select workflows that we've created inside our environment, that you've created for your company, and fill in the additional information we need. When I hit start, it's going to show up right here as the next workflow that's been started. If I have a task, the task will show up in my task list. So it all links these things together. And then down here, some different examples. I have documents. Here I said there's multiple ways to get into everything. Here's Infor document management. So if I select any one of these documents and I go in, here is a document that was created by the system. So it's not just documents that you're adding manually, but maybe when you print a purchase order, now it's going to print to a PDF. And that PDF is going to go into document management, and it's going to link to that purchase order. So when I select the purchase order, it will come up. It links the data together. Now, when I'm looking at something like this, maybe there's more tools that I need. One of the things, boy, maybe I need to have this signed. It's a big purchase order. Well, I can come up here. I can check these things out. I can save different functions here. But what I'm going to do, I use this as an example. Let me go back for a second. I'm going to go right to my search results, and I'm going to pick the next one. That one was already in process. I can check this out. I can do anything I want with it. I can save it. I can modify it. I can save this back as a part of history with revision control, so I can see what has happened as I go through these documents. So it's very nice to be able to come through here, to be able to find these documents. And when I want, oh, here's one, I need to get a signature on this. Well, I'm going to hit signature. And you know what it's going to do? It's going to automatically create this to DocuSign. Put myself in here. It knows who I am. PO requiring, this is sending an email requiring signature. Please sign. Now, when I hit send here, oh, sorry, I have to add the recipient. When I hit send, that is sending out a DocuSign email to me. And as it goes through this process, I will get the email. I will process it. Here is where, if you're familiar with DocuSign, I want you to sign this. Here's your name. And I'm going to send it. That email is now gone. Now, again, I could go to my inbox. I could do the 5-minute thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back up here and I'm going to go to signatures, because this is the one that I just signed. And when I open it up, Oh, here it is. Sorry. Always helpful to hit the right button. When I open it up, I will get, it's opening up on a different screen, and I will move it right over to you. My signed document coming in as a part of document management. So as I started out opening this up saying, it links everything together for us. It's no longer this segregated series of 15 programs that I'm running throughout the day. Cloud allows us the technology to merge all that back together. Now, as I'm looking at this, going back to my screen, again, I have backlog, I have manufacturing orders past due, I have purchase orders by state. You can make the widgets as to what you want. This is inventory follow-up. Again, this is below safety stock, giving me warning messages. I have the ability to do that, but it links directly to XA. So let's go in and take a look. What does it mean when I say it links directly to XA? There it is. From that menu, that customized menu, so people don't have to search through all the different options that are available within XA. You can set up these role models so 99% of what they need is available right there on their screen. Now, while they're doing this, I still have the whole iSeries available to me as far as all the objects, but I can go directly to these functions. Now, this is the interface for the cloud. It looks very similar to what you're used to doing, but it has workbench capability built into it. If I click this little button, I'm going to take these MOs, and as I highlight them, it will update all my workbenches. It will update all of the things that I want to see about these different orders. So here's my manufacturing order. I have my bill of material, my router, I have my special charges, all shows up on one screen. Now, that's really cool, but I'm not done with that. Instead of just looking at those capabilities within there, now I'm in the item revision file. I told you it links everything together. So if I select the shortcomings here and select an item, sure enough, up comes that data. But I also have the ability to tie in document management and to tie in additional capabilities. So as I am pushing these different buttons, let me show you here. If I'm looking at this PC assembly, I have the information available here. I've tied in different IDF widgets, different capabilities down here. So I have multiple card capabilities and linkage of all these functions together. If I have a document, the first one that I opened, that has multiple documents tied to it, notice it says one of two, I can see what they are. And I can move these things around, show them the way I want to see them. I can download them. And if I was sending out a purchase order, I could put a purchase order in here too. So all of the capability that we need links it back. And these are tied directly in to this particular part number. Let me show you how easy it is to do this. Let's pick a part that doesn't have a picture on it. Part number 1006. Well, I happen to have a picture of the PC that is represented by that, and I'm simply going to drag it over here and drop it. It's going to confirm the name, what it's connected to the item revision. I'm going to hit upload, and I just attached a new document in document management to part number 1002. That easy. The linkage works. Very strong. Now, earlier I said you can get the workflows multiple ways. Here is a purchase request screen. You see all these pendings and approved? These are all workflows. We've configured purchase requests to automatically kick off a workflow when you're entering that. So here's purchase request 438. Well, let's go back over here. Sure enough, there is, well, I'm not going to get on top of it because it covers the number, but there is RPO 438 right there. It's waiting for me to approve it. I go into it. I can assign it to somebody in my department. I can simply approve it. I can add attachments to this. I can add additional information. It's all very strong. It all simply works. But geez, you know what? I'm out on a golf course today. This is a mirror of my phone, which right now is. And I'm sitting there on the 7th hole, and sure enough, look at this. I can go in and look at my inbox. And it just connected. And sure enough, right there is requisition 438. From my phone, I could sit there and connect it. I could assign it to somebody. I could approve it. Whatever I need to do, I can do here on the phone also. So this is the Infor Go that Ron was talking about. It links exactly in to the same thing we see here. There are other things. We've always wanted to use Visual Planner, right? We have multiple databases on ours, so I have to select the database that I'm going to go into. We now have Visual Planner in the cloud interface. It is no longer something that's sitting on your PC that you have to call separate. It's a part of the whole function. So all of these things tie together. If I want to go directly to document management from here, sorry, wrong button. I want to go directly to, I already showed you that one. I want to look at my documents from here. I can sort this anyway. These are the most recent documents that just came in. It takes me back to the document management. Here are my documents. Here are the ones that I've created. Purchase orders, requisitions. We just loaded this laptop picture. So it loads all those things in. If I'm looking at all the documents, I can do quick searches. And I can search for and bring up the things that specifically say the word inside that PDF is the word laptop. So it will find the information that I'm looking for very quickly, very powerful. And let me see, what else do I want to show you here? Oh, but just as just an example, as I mentioned before, there's my IDM, there is my CRM, there is my scan and track. So this is a guide product now linked directly in through cloud. Just verifying I've showed you the things that I want to show you, showed you the workflow, showed you, yes, this is what in XA in the cloud looks like. This is its capabilities, and this is how customizable it is because all these widgets are under your control. You have a business intelligence, you can put in those widgets. You have the analytics in the data lake where you've loaded data, you can pull that out of there. This is completely customizable to what you need it to be. And then when it's all said and done, we will end up coming up here and creating multiple role pages. Instead of inventory, there will be one for order entry. There will be one for procurement. There will be one for, you can see we have some of these already set up for a controller. And so this is how this is going to be able to make our jobs better by utilizing technology. Ron, with that, I will turn that back to you.
Excellent, sir. Thank you, Rick, for that demonstration on XA. It really is, I think, a full circle of how far the technology, the platform, the capability has come. So for the last little piece, and I want to do some Q&A, we got a couple things we want to also talk about. I think what this was actually from a survey that I picked up of a lot of reasons why customers are looking and actually making this cloud adoption move. The innovation, right? Hopefully, I feel like, with that technology and what people have now seen as real world that they can put into place tomorrow, just keeping pace with that type of innovation and change, that's very difficult for a lot of customers. That's a lot of reasons why companies are moving to the cloud. Obviously, they're looking for things to be secured. These environments can scale. The hardware, the cloud ops, and the people that are behind these environments really gives customers huge uptimes and a lot of security around that. And then just think of your users, right? Having a new interface to where they're really more getting onto a browser. They're starting to use their mobile devices. And then overall, we know that this is all about bringing applications that allow companies to move and maybe change their direction of some of their key resources, especially around the IT arena, put them into more business roles and applications and business problem solvers. That ultimately is going to help the company be more competitive, react faster, and that all gets to what we believe is a really solid TCO. So with that, I want to have our service professional, Carlos, maybe talk a little bit about customers that we've helped through this journey before. A couple of things here to kind of connect with and kind of share some of our experiences.
Hey, thank you, Ron. This is Carlos Vela. I am the Guides XA manager, and I'm a little bit rusty on my presentation skills, but here I go. So Infor Cloud has been growing its customer base pretty consistently over the past 6 years. And I would say that probably in the last 4 years, that it has really started to take off. Since 2018, Guide itself has moved over 25 customers that were once on-prem into the cloud. And probably of the 25 customers, 20 of those actually migrated in the past 4 years. Over that time period, Guide has formed a team consisting of multiple professionals with expertise in project management, as well as applications and technical background knowledge that only do cloud type work, that we just support, develop, and train customers that are in need of moving to the Infor Cloud. Part of what we have done over the past 4 years through continuous improvement methodologies is to change what we do as we know more. So at first we don't succeed, we try and try again until we do. But the idea is that we have gotten very good at moving customers to the cloud. We have also developed a series of tools that enhance how we move customers to the cloud so that we are able to quickly review and analyze things as we are moving and supporting customers to the cloud. With this information, we create not only detailed instructions of what we have to do, but we also bundle all this into our project plans, and we perform all the necessary steps to move a customer to the cloud. The plans that we do create are basically a template, but we tailor each one specifically for any type of special situation that a customer might have. So we have had experience with a medical device company where they were basically one LPAR that had 6 environments and over 300 users. We have had another scenario where we had 3 different LPARs. One of them was a QA, another one was a development, and then a third one was the actual production. But we had to manage that across 6 different environments, and that was also a 300 plus, actually close to 400 users that we had to move over and migrate to the cloud. We have had opportunities in other customer sites where we have not only a single byte US environment, but we also have double byte in China. And that's been a couple of different LPARs, and we have a series of users that have transitioned from what they do today to something that is totally different in the cloud. And they have managed to move everything over in a period of anywhere between, I would say, I'd say probably the best cases are going to be about 3 months, but we've had some of these transitions take as long as 9 months. Up to this time, I would think that the biggest driver that we have seen for our customers to move to the cloud has been to address hardware costs, upgrade and scalability of their hardware and support, upgrade and scalability of their network. Security has been a huge issue just because they've been hacked or their systems were so old that they had to replace all their network. So that's been a huge change. But also audit compliance by many customers where their systems are old, they don't no longer meet the security aspects, they no longer are a viable solution for them. In some of these cases, they never even had DR capabilities. So all these were drivers to move to the cloud. And then patching the hardware, doing OS upgrades, disk and memory adjustments, all that was being now managed by someone else, which provided a high level of comfort to businesses that needed to have their systems in a stable, secure, and up-to-date environment. Today, we are actually seeing a higher level of interest on people wanting to actually use the tools that are available once you move to the cloud. As part of your cloud contract, Infor Operating Services is available and allows you to begin to start using things like Infor document management, workflow, and have a very strong and robust data warehouse. So iOS is that foundational tool that enables a customer to connect applications via many pre-written interfaces that come right from Infor. So you don't have to sit there and try to figure out how you're going to write the interface. The interface is written, which can improve the speed to adoption. But these Infor edge systems that as we call them, are all listed in these little blue boxes around what we have as enhanced XA. But there's also connectivity that you can also build yourselves into such systems like Shopify or Salesforce or a CAD system that is not Infor, and they all use those utilizing web service APIs. So this is a great tool for customers that want to begin to integrate data from any system into Infor XA. On this slide here, we have basically that you have the Infor OS, and it is available for folks that are running release 9. It gets enhanced in release 10, but it is really the stepping stone for what you're going to be doing in release 11 and the future. It is a huge way of removing yourself from something that if I need to plug out let's say that I do something in XA today, but I want to utilize a different interface for my quoting system. I can very quickly install EQ and just relate that through iOS into XA, and now I've got a quoting system. So it's the same thing with a supplier exchange or any other application that we had on the prior screen. It just gives you an opportunity to begin relating systems, and it is something that is built around what is going to be developed from release 10 forward. And now I turn it back to Ron, I think.
Excellent. Thank you, Carlos, for that. It's always great to hear customers and their journeys and the insights of those that have kind of gone through this process and see the value and how it kind of changed their organization. So, Wendy, I'll move it back to you to maybe help drive maybe Q&A from the panel.
Thank you, Ron, and thank you, Rick and Carlos. I appreciate you. We have a couple of questions coming in that we will touch on. The first one, I believe you mentioned, Carlos, but here it comes as a formal question. What does a typical migration timeline look like for a current XA customer?
Yeah, I'd say that the bulk of our transitions have been in somewhere in the 3 to 5 month range, depending on size and what we have to do. We have had a couple that have gone longer due to the extensiveness of change and the amount of training and just activities that occur within those environments.
Perfect. Thank you for that. The next question is, do you have an implementation best practice guide or something to ensure we have a smooth migration?
Yes, between the documents that we have built internally, where we detail out all the different tasks that need to occur for a customer, plus what Infor provides us as far as their migration tools, we have a very comprehensive amount of paperwork that we are able to use in a migration to the cloud.
Thank you. Next question. They're asking what support or training is needed and available once we transition to the cloud?
Most of the training occurs as part of the project as you transition before you actually go live. So users whose life is going to change because there's going to be a different interface, or we've upgraded their system from, let's say, release 7 all the way to release 10, there's going to be changes in what they do, and they may not be able to utilize the same exact features that they had in release 7. So all that training occurs before they go live. Post go live, we do always have a support section within our statements of work. And if there is any additional training that is required, we can always pull the team back in to help support that.
And I'll add one piece to that from a Infor Tech Platform perspective. There's a robust set of places that we can get information, like on the Infor University. Like if you want to have a training class on how to build workflows or how to do, document management and those kind of things. So there's a robust set of online training courses that go to support all the tech platform capabilities. Also, there's a nice site, developer.infor.com, that has anything and everything from a tech perspective on the tech platform, examples, how-tos, all kind of documentation around everything that we've seen today. So feel free to visit that site. But by all means, keep in mind that there is an Infor University that can train you on all the wonderful technology and the XA Cloud piece that we talked about today.
Thank you, Carlos and Ron. Last question I have here is, what level of control does our IT team retain when we move to the cloud environment?
That's a great question, because a lot of customers that have moved to the cloud have reduced their IT departments to a point where they don't have much internal management. But for those who wish to retain an IT staff, that is totally up to the customer as to how much control they wish to have over the environment.
Perfect. Thank you again, Carlos. Just one last opportunity for anyone who has any additional questions, please drop those in the chat. I'll take a moment of silence to see if any last minute questions trickle in. Okay, well, we hope you found the session today informative and that it gave you a clearer understanding of the risks of staying on-prem, the benefits of upgrading to the cloud, and how Infor XA Cloud can support your organization's future. As a reminder, if you have any additional questions or would like to continue the conversation, please don't hesitate to reach out. You'll see contact information on the screen now for our XA account executives, Chuck Joffrey and John Hayes, as well as their email and phone numbers, and they are ready to support you with personalized guidance. Thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate your interest and look forward to helping you explore what a smarter, more agile XA environment can look like for your business. Have a great day.